folks, Bob from BBD, Fast and Furious. As you know, I lost my father-in-law, and there's no grief greater than losing someone so close. I also learned just now that my chartered accountant since I started my business in '94, his wife just passed away, 3 young kids, lack of oxygen in a hospital. Conditions firsthand, believe me, in hospitals, even the best, is extremely, extremely poor. We actually took a decision to keep our mother at home and treat her when she's much better. But now I want to talk about vaccines, right? If you remember, there were 6 or 7 episodes away, I had पर्दा खुलाश किया था ये वैक्सीन पॉलिसी का जब ये आई थी 1840 और सारी जितनी भी मीडिया थी, सारे मतलब जितने NDTV सब हाई हेडलाइन वाज कि वैक्सीनेशन opened up for 18 to 44. But I had put this question, right? That's okay, it's great policy, right? But if there was a vaccine, that was a great policy. That should have been the policy in the first place, right? Now we are struggling with it because technically now all of a sudden, since yesterday, you have a Som on NDTV bringing on Chetan Bhagat, another Modi Bhakt coming out of the woodwork, right? And then you have everyone finally talking about, and Omkar Goswami with an op-ed about capacity and requirements. Hey, what were you doing? This is a policy that had been questioned the day it happened. I'm just wondering whether the Prime Minister is talking to anybody before he announces these policies. Obviously not, because he did it for demonetization. You suffered. He did it for the sudden lockdown, and millions of people suffered. And he's done the same thing. And here is what the result is, right? What finally newspaper says. At current rate, it'll take 3 years to jab entire adult population. Great. Okay. Then you had economic times. States start prioritizing second shot for 45 plus. And it says Andhra, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Bengal, Odisha, Kerala, Telangana among states tweaking appointment. I can tell you, I've seen sites on television. It is bad news, folks. It is bad news. Unfortunately, you made this now the next big thing, that this is what's going to save you, right? You thought there'd be vaccine hesitancy. There's none. There's just vaccine, grab it. Now what are you going to do? So you people actually did not revolt against us and against the government and the rich when we denied them food and employment. What is this? Now we're denying them life. That's what they would think, right? Asked to rethink vaccine policy, sent it to Supreme Court. Trust us, no need for court intervention. Now the problem is the court's taken over, right? God bless this government. This government actually should resign. At least the sane thinking minister should resign, because I'm telling you this. This is for sure. This is what I said. City dwellers hit country roads for vaccination. People are driving all over the place, folks. And a small note inside is supply woes may fuel more unrest. Will it fuel more unrest? Absolutely. Absolutely. And what does our Delhi CM says? Direct vax firms to give Delhi 60 lakh doses every month till July. In letter to center, right? Keep writing letters, Kejriwal ji. Keep writing letters. There is no vaccination. The center hasn't done its job, right? Amid supply crunch, Maharashtra, Rajasthan look to import vaccines. Now here's the thing: you've thrown the ball in the court of the states, right? Because you've washed it up. I don't know where your money is, right? Basically, they've done it because they don't have money, because they sent all this money on Central Vista, on the Patel statue, and the BJP headquarters, God knows what, right? But they have not spent money where it really mattered, and that was in these vaccines. They should have understood that. But having said that, now the poor Maharashtra, they're going to go for a tender. The tender is another stupidity, right? It's a stupidity. You got to go with what Israel did. You go to the fucking manufacturer, tell them I want these many vaccines, this is the money you're going to get. At tender, what's going to happen is the cheapest one is going to be the stupid ones from China, Sinopharm and the other stuff. They're probably being exposed for having created the virus. Imagine getting their vaccination, which is absolutely useless. Is that what you want? I would suggest to you that they should be kept on, but tenders is not the way to go. You're going to have to give premium for what you're going to get. You're not going to get this for cheap. Now the problem is, because the United States has opened it up for children, the surplus the United States had is going to get used up. So, hey, we are against a brick wall, folks. These poor guys are also saying we are going to go raise a global tender. Who's going to supply them? There's no vaccine in Africa. There's no vaccine in Latin America. We are 60% of the global manufacturing capacity was in India. If India can't supply, folks, who is? Let's wake up and smell the coffee. I better tell these chief ministers, but poor Uddhav Thackeray and his son, right? Vaccines to last 5-6 days need more, says Delhi. Curbs tighten, but vaccination slackens in country most vulnerable districts. Obviously, there's no vaccine. What are you going to do? Vaccine inequity gets worse. Rural India, smaller hospitals hit. Well, wait on, folks. Forget smaller hubs. The second-tier cities are going to get hammered without that. BMC to issue global tender to procure 50 lakh vaccines. Like, let me say, he's not going to get any joy unless he's willing to pay $8 to $12 a vaccine, right? And even then, I doubt it. Covaxin stock to finish in a day, says Health Minister. Oh, wow. No funds. Now look at Chati, 56 chin Chati. And what does the government affidavit say to Supreme Court? No funds granted for vaccine research development, says government. Now he's defending himself. This is the line they're taking to defend their position that they can't force these guys to give a cheaper price. What a shame. This just shows the culpability and the stupidity of the people who are making these decisions. This should have read, funds were granted for vaccine and research and development. Only then, folks, would India have gotten vaccines. This statement by the Attorney General to the Supreme Court stays at all, and I'm hoping the Supreme Court sees through this. Okay. Fix vax drive, ensure poor and villagers not left out. Says Lancet is saying fix the vaccination drive. India could potentially see 1 million deaths by August 1st. Would be surprised if we are not already halfway there, right? And then finally, folks, the Supreme Court, I think, has given up on this government. It says 6 months tenure for task force to set up state audit groups. It says, as Supreme Court sets up task force for COVID response, oxygen audit supply, center suggests panel on oxygen, and then finally, and what does this guy have to say? Laharia, a guiding force. Task force set up by court can shape response to pandemic and future public health. So what the hell did we elect this government for? And then it has the audacity to tell the Supreme Court, don't interfere. Hey, somebody is going to save our lives, folks. Somebody. Please remember that. So while we do tenders, this is one thing you worry about, like I said about Sinopharma. Seychelles, world's most vaccinated nation, brings back curbs as cases surge. Now what does it say? By April 12, 59% of the dosage administered was Sinopharm vaccine and the rest were Covishield, right? To date, 62.2% of its population is fully vaccinated. That means 59% with Sinopharm and only 3% with Covishield. And look at what it did. It's not working, folks. The Sinopharm is useless. Seychelles is your example. The next thing I'm going to talk about is this. I was flipping channels. I saw NDTV talking to senior advisor, doctors and scientific people about vaccine and stuff like that. Then I flipped to Aaj Tak by mistake. And guess who was she talking about? To Baba Ram. Right. Dyed hair, dyed beard. All he can do is suck in his stomach and kind of impress the world. Let me just tell you, folks, I know this from the orthopedic departments in many huge amount of injuries come in because they try and follow Baba Ramdev's yoga posture. Just remember about yoga, right? All the cow product, all the yoga, the air, everything else, right? Those were different times. Those were times of purity, the Vedic times of purity, pure air, pure water, pure grass, pure whatever. Everybody knows what you breathe in, what you take in, right? Like it was a cow, right? You think the cow has got some kind of mechanism, even though it's an Indian cow, that it takes dirty water, dirty plastic, dirty water, and try to produce very great gobar. Right now, if you try and burn gobar, let me just tell you, from these cows that are in Delhi, it smells, it's acidic. Nothing like the gobers of the old days, right? So let's just forget about this gobar crap. Oh, actually, gobar crap. I mean, basically what's coming out like, I don't know whether you heard about this, a joke about big shit, no chief, right? We are exactly in that situation. Big shit, no chief, right? And this is what we've done to science. We got Baba Ramdev, and what do we have here? HC raps Uttarakhand for organizing religious events amid pandemic. Police file FIR after thousands attend UP cleric funeral. What do you do with a UP cleric when you're allowing all this kind of, at the same time, Kumbh Mela and all that stuff? 9th seer dies of COVID after Mahakumbh. All right. 100 priests COVID plus 2 die after event. This is again the Mahakumbh. This is Kerala's Munnar now. This is Christian. So you got a Christian, you got Hindus, you got Muslims, everybody going at it. In Gujarat, 23 booked over Kalash Yatra to keep COVID away. Wow. So when you have this, right, you know what this government thinks. Can you see this, right? Can you see this? So there is this cow talking to a human being. What does it say? Gujarat Center, Gujarat. Guess who? Where the experiment of Hindutva is going on, right? Please. Relies on cow urine, herbs, homeopathy, get this, to treat mild cases. For fever, we are giving Gau Mutra Arak with Giloy and neem extracts. While for cough, we are giving Gau Sutra Arak with Giloy, Neem, Clove and various other herbs. What does one say, folks? Because you know what this government obviously DNA is, right? Because this is what it said: no funds granted for vaccine, like I told you, research, development, government, because all the funds are going into Gau Mutra, Gau Gobar. And if you remember with that news item coming out of UP, Bisht had, the chief minister, had authorized oximeters and all that stuff for Gaushalas, nothing for human beings, folks. And this affidavit actually, rightly, was government affidavit in Supreme Court argues against the compulsory licensing of some key drugs used to treat COVID-19 and also vaccines. Okay, right, good definition. However, the point is, folks, it exposed itself by trying to defend itself, exposed itself that it is full of, like I said, big shit, no chief, no direction, no money spent on where it should have been spent. It is not a badge of honor. I'm telling this Attorney General to stand up in the Supreme Court and say, we did not give them funds. It's a shame that you did not give funds for vaccines or for research and development. Fast and furious, look at what Lancet finally calls us. India squandered early success. Government must own up, revamp response, Lancet says. Modi government bid to stifle criticism, open discussion, inexcusable, says editorial, right? And this is what the Indian Express says. Please don't deny, COVID surge is going rural. Government should ensure truth isn't a COVID casualty, howsoever terrible it makes them look. Look at this. Floating bodies in Ganga sparks Bihar government probe. Bodies of suspected COVID victims found floating in Ganga, half burnt, right? Rohtak village grapples with COVID. Mystery fever talk as 18 die in 10 days. Coinciding with UP rural polls cases up 120% in a month. Rajasthan journo held for post. So let's tell this our Chanakya that it is connected, right? He's been going around telling everybody it's not connected. Oh, Maharashtra mein बढ़ रहे हैं, तो क्या उधर तो election भी नहीं हुई. Okay. In railways, Piyush Goyal, not to be seen. Get your bloody face out there. At 1,000 cases a day, Railways has lost 1,952 staff so far, and Piyush Goyal, folks, missing in action. These are the kind of guys we have as ministers. At 294%, Assam posts biggest rise in new cases. Nail the election commission. Uttarakhand, over 50% of total case deaths within 40 days. This is Mela. As deaths go up tenfold, worrying signs from smaller states. Government prepping for third wave. City will be able to tackle 30,000 daily cases. The third wave is for sure coming here in Mumbai because no vaccination. This is strange. COVID hits AMU. 50 serving and ex-staff people die. What's happening? Could my son have been saved if he got oxygen tank? Who knows? Shortage of experts. Gujarat hospitals turn to telemedicine. Gujarat culprit. No experts. Gujarat model. Big shit. No chief. Delhi to UP, DU to AMU. Teaching community battles lost. Then you have 11 patients die in AP hospital after oxygen tanker delayed. Tirupati too, the temple in Tirupati. No, nobody is getting left out, folks. Nothing is safe. Delhi High Court to hear pleas seeking to halt Vista construction. That's a monstrosity because of the time, folks. Then COVID devices from China take off again, but let me tell you, China, the vendors are like vultures. Beware. People are sitting outside their gates. They've doubled their capacity. They've doubled their prices and still not delivering. Jay Shankar, poor fellow. Jay Shankar, India team in isolation in London after COVID exposure. COVID worries at G7 meet. 2 Indian delegates test positive. Gone, man. 2 senior docs in Indore quit. Blame bureaucrats. Some states say no, got no foreign aid yet on the way, says Centre. Air India pilots say vaccines or won't fly. Rightly so. India's COVID crisis shows complacency, says Rajan. Absolutely complacency. With Bengaluru crematoriums running out of space, fires burn at granite quarry outside city. Shameful. Bengaluru, our pride, because of the government there.